order of operations. So let's learn about the order of operations. So what are operations? Operations are things like multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. These sort of things are operations. Now, sometimes we're given an equation that has, brackets here, you got times here and there, you got multiplication and division everywhere. So we're going to figure out, which ones do we do first and then which ones do we do last? Okay, so that's what we call the order of operations. So if we have a look at it, let's start off with what we have to do first. Now the first thing we're going to think about is grouping symbols, okay? So in other words, brackets. Now, I'm just going to write up here. Let's write our bracket symbol, okay? That's the first thing we need to do, okay? So we'll use that for when we're doing a question later on. Now, sometimes we're given multiple brackets, right? So not only one bracket, but sometimes many brackets. Then what do? Then I want you to do the innermost bracket first, okay? So if we're given a bracket here, solve whatever's in there, okay? And after you do that, go out to the next bracket, okay? And then go out to the next bracket, and so on, okay? So the priority here is the innermost bracket comes very first, okay? So we're going to do that first. Now, after we do brackets, number 2, what should we do? It's multiplication and division, okay? So I'll just write that up here. So let's just write a little times and divide sign here so that we know that comes after my brackets, okay? So after we do all the multiplication and all the divisions that's available, we're going to move on to the number 3, which is addition and subtraction. Okay, so that's what's left. So let's write that up. I'm just going to write a plus and a minus sign. Okay, so this is pretty much our order of operations. Okay, so brackets, multiplication, division, and then addition and subtractions after that. Okay, so once we know that, let's try and solve a few questions. Okay, question number 1. So evaluate without using a calculator. We're given 18 divided by brackets 7 minus 4. So let's go to our order of operations. We have to do my brackets first. Okay, so if I do our brackets first, inside here, 7 minus 4 is what I want you to do. So let's calculate that part only. Okay, so that's just 3. And then now we only have just one operation, which is divide. Okay, so let's just do that. 18 divided by 3 will give me simply just 6. Okay, so this is a very basic question that didn't have many operations, but still, we did my brackets first, and then after that, we did my division. Okay, or what's just left. Let's have a move on to the next one. Question number 2. Evaluate again without using a calculator. So 3 plus 2 times, and we have another bracket. Okay, first thing we're going to do, brackets. So brackets first, inside here. Okay, so 6 minus 2 is inside the bracket. I want you to calculate that part. So if we have a look at it, simply it becomes 4. Okay, and have a look at it, we have plus and we have times. Which one should we do first? Well, we've done our brackets. Then after that, it's multiplication and division. In which case, we have multiplication. So I want you to do 2 times 4 first. Okay, so then multiply, and we should get 8. Okay, so let's add 3 plus 8. We should just simply get 11. Understand? So this is applying my order of operations. So we haven't done any too hard of questions at the moment, but we'll keep going on. So question number 3, we have, again, evaluate with no calculator. Okay, we got many brackets this time. Okay, well we know bracket comes first, and also we know the innermost bracket comes first, even before any other bracket. So for example, like this one. Okay, so this bracket is within the square brackets, right? So let's try and do those first. So brackets first, we have many brackets. I want you to go. 3 minus 7 will give me negative 4. Okay, and this bracket as well, 5 minus 2 is simply just 3. Okay, what do we do after that? Well, we still have brackets. Then the next bracket, okay? So meaning this one. So negative minus negative 4, okay, that part will become plus 4, okay? So after we do that, bracket again, then we're going to calculate what's inside there, which is 9 times 3. So now we're just left with numbers and multiplication. So once we're done with all of my numbers, all of my brackets, then let's just calculate what we have left, okay, which is 27. Okay, so this is an example of having multiple brackets, okay, and we're going to do the innermost bracket first. Let's have a move on to question number 4. So this one looks quite straightforward. 5 plus 6 minus 4 times 2. So which one should we do first? Well, brackets should come first, but there are no brackets. So next one, let's move down. Let's do times. So I want you to do 4 times 2 first. Okay, so if we multiply them, I want you to get just 8. Okay, now we're left with plus and minus, so which is obviously the next steps. And you may think to yourself, oh, do we do plus first or do we do minus first? It doesn't really matter, okay? But in this case, let's just do 5 plus 6 first. So that's 11, take away 8, will give me 3. Okay, so this is how we do question number 4. Now, question number 5, we have fractions now, okay? And one little thing that we have to know about fractions is that there are little secret brackets in there, okay? So we can rewrite the question probably better if we write it like this, okay? Just keep in mind, when we have fractions like this, they all have brackets outside, okay? Outside of those numbers, okay? From here, obviously, we're going to do our brackets first, right? So let's just do it. So 5 times 2 will give me 10, and 5 minus 3 will give me 2. Okay, let's try and simplify. We have a fraction of 10 over 2, which can just give me 5. So now we have 5 times 3 minus 3. Well, which one should we do first? We have a times and we have a minus. Let's do times first. Okay, 5 times 3 is 15. Let's take away 3, and we should just get 12. Understand? So keep in mind, when we're dealing with fractions, we should note that there are always brackets around them. Okay? Now, let's move on to question number 6. So our questions are starting to get quite large now. That's why we have this written up on the board. So evaluate this without using a calculator. Okay? So have a look at my next step here. Okay, so let's see what I've done. If I have a look at this, I'm going to do my times. So 3 times 2 is 6. Let's just try and do everything we can. And obviously, brackets we should do as well. So after that, my brackets will become 6. And also, my multiplication here, okay, will just give me 9. So we'll just do as much as we can. Okay, now what should we do after that? Okay, so we have 12 minus 6, okay, and we have 6 divided by 3. So what do they give us? Okay, so 12 minus 6 gives me 6. 6 divided by 3 gives me just simply 2, right? So again, remember in my fraction, these are all brackets. So let's try and work it out. 2 minus 3 will give me a negative 1, okay? Now 6 divided by negative 1, or 6 over negative 1, is simply negative 6 minus 9. So if we go negative 6 minus 9, that should give me negative 15. Understand? So I want you guys to have a look at what we've done here. Okay, this is a pretty big equation, so it's very important for us to use this very carefully. Okay, let's move on to question number 7. So evaluate without using a calculator again. Now, what I want you to do first is just simplify. Okay, just simplify what we can. So what I mean is, square root of 36 is 6, square root of 81, and square root of 25. I want you to just calculate what it is. Okay, and now we're given this. So bracket first, let's calculate what's in there. Okay, 9 minus 5 is just 4. Okay, now we have minus and we have a divide sign. So which one should we do first? Obviously, we should do divide first. So 4 divided by 2 is simply 2. And then finally, 6 minus 2 is 4. Okay, so this is how we do the order of operations. Okay, so it's very important. This order, and also one other thing is when we have brackets, do the inside bracket, the innermost bracket first. Okay, and then just keep expanding outside. And then we'll just follow this order.